Do you remember around 2014 or 15 when CONTAX T2s could be found for under $300? Yeah, neither do I. Anyway, that camera is much more expensive now for reasons. In fact, there's a lot of models that have skyrocketed in popularity and consequently in price. Cameras like the Leica M6, which around 2015 could be found for around $1,300 US, is now easily double that, if not more. And cameras like the Pentax 6.7, which is also very expensive. And then there's cameras like the Mamiya 7, which you are never going to be able to afford. Well, we're not talking about those cameras today. Today, we are talking about undervalued film cameras that are, as of right now, really affordable. I'm talking about common cameras that you can find on eBay or Facebook groups or online sellers like KEH right now for an affordable price. Now, you should know that these are functional, perfectly capable tools, and while they're not status symbols and they will not cement your rockstar status at the next photo walk, they're going to help you produce some really amazing photographs. The first kind of camera I want to talk about are point and shoots with zoom lenses. Now, the Stylus Epic commands a really high premium nowadays, but their zoom counterparts are really affordable. Models like the Zoom 105 and also the Zoom 80. So they're similar in size, they're a little bigger than the Epic, but they are same form factor, clamshell cover. Only difference being they have zoom lenses, so that's kind of handy. Now, a common drawback with a camera like this is the lenses usually have smaller apertures. Again, referring to the Epic, it's got a 2.8 aperture. These are not going to perform as well in lower light because they have those smaller apertures. But again, that's the trade-off with a camera like this. You're going to be blasting people in the face with the flash anyway. Now, in this category of camera, there are a lot of choices. Brands like Pentax and Minolta tend to be even more affordable than the Olympus models. They're great performers, they have great lenses, and they work spectacularly, but they are just not in demand as the Olympus models, so naturally they're going to be cheaper. I can't really recommend any particular model because a lot of them are the same. The only real variances are the ranges of the zoom, but for the most part, they're just, a lot of them are functionally the same. Like this is a Minolta Freedom Fun Zoom. It's got a 35 to 80 millimeter. And this is a Pentax SBO AF Zoom. And this has a 35 to 70 millimeter. The pictures from these are probably going to look identical. And I've not tested this one yet. I have tested this one, and the pictures look terrific. It works great. And of course, Canon and Nikon also have a ton of different models. These things are everywhere. Another type of camera that's worth talking about are older prime lens point and shoots. Now let me show you what I'm talking about. This is probably one of my favorite examples of this kind of camera. It's the Canon Sure Shot. It's an autofocus point and shoot, and you can tell just by the styling. Look at the difference in styling. They're older looking. These are from the late 70s. They're a lot boxier. They're a little bigger. Again, there's a size comparison for you. And here's another example, the Sure Shot Max, which, and again, one telltale sign of these older cameras is they have a lot of mechanical moving parts. Like this camera turns on using this little switch right here that flips the built-in lens cap open and close. So just those mechanical parts, buttons that aren't as smooth, you can tell that there's just a lot less circuitry in this thing than there is in this thing or this type of camera right here. You can tell that these cameras are an evolution from these older cameras. But again, this particular model, right now you see them for around $30, and they have great lenses. My dad shot with this thing for many years, and now it's in my hands. I still use this thing every once in a while. This camera is super loud, just incidentally. Another example is this thing here. This old Fujinon, it's a TW300. And it doesn't have a zoom lens. It's got a lens that is basically two focal lengths. So it doesn't zoom in and out. It's just got one focal length and a second focal length. And I think it's a 38 and a 65. Again, another example of a mechanical part, you know? You can kind of hear the spring in that shutter as opposed to just, you know, the nice rubber return and click of a camera like this. The next kind of camera I want to talk about are autofocus SLRs. A lot of people are fixated on vintage cameras such as this one, people such as myself. But people love these things, and for good reason. They're reliable, durable machines, and they look cool. So these things tend to be really popular nowadays, and because they're popular, they can get really expensive. The inexpensive alternative? Modern autofocus SLRs. The great thing about these is if you've got any lenses for your modern digital SLR system like your Canon 5D or your Nikon D800, they work on these cameras too. And of course you have the benefit of modern technology too. Autofocus, auto rewind, auto advance, really accurate metering, all the things you'd expect from a modern camera. Models like the Canon EOS Elan and the Elan 2E, or the EOS Rebel TI and the Rebel 2000. These are all, I'm not going to say unpopular cameras, but they're not as popular as these vintage cameras that are just commanding relatively high prices right now. These can be found everywhere on KEH, on eBay, check your local stores for these used cameras. They're everywhere, and they're not highly sought after. A lot of them still work, are in great shape, and just are begging to be used. And again, they're not status symbols, but they're going to produce great pictures for you. So let me know in the comments, what are some undervalued models that you've found? Let's be sure to help each other out, and let's go find some great cameras. And thank you so much for watching. I hope you found this helpful. I will see you next time.